excited about that. But we have a couple of girls today who are going to share a little testimony of how they came to faith, or a little bit, I think it's how they came to faith. I hope it is, Jess, is it? More about the youth and hopefully about Jesus, because he's more important than the youth. Just giving you time to think about that. But Jess is going to come, and welcome Jess as she comes, and she can introduce herself. And Hannah.
Okay, so good morning, guys. I'm Jess, and I'm one of the youth leaders here, and this is Hannah, and she's one of the girls that comes to youth. We've both been going for a while, but off the back of our youth weekend, we just thought we'd get up, share a little bit about what God's doing in youth, what God did over the youth weekend, and all that stuff. So this youth weekend, we went on our last youth weekend in October 24, and we went to the exact same place we went to, and we only needed one building. This time, we needed 3 buildings instead of 1, and that's just like such an obvious sign of like God's growth in like people and in numbers, but more importantly, the people that we have in youth at the minute, like their spiritual growth is so much greater. Like we've had 13 people saved in the past 4 weeks of youth. Like that's incredible. And we've had like so many baptized like recently in the past year as well. Like it's genuinely been incredible to see God moving in every single life. Like people have just completely gone for it and just gave him their all, and it's so special to see in like everyone in the room. Like we were talking about it like last night about how we were sitting in the Saturday night service, and like people were like wanting one more song, and people are like, everyone is just going for it. There's no one just sitting. Like everyone has the same heart for Jesus, and to see him work in their lives and him work in the lives of their family and their friends, and it's so incredible. So Hannah's going to talk a bit more about youth. I've done the weekend, so.
So like youth isn't just a place that we come and like just worship God, then leave and like say hi, like how are you, and then go. Like it's more of a community and a family. Like I know for sure that everyone in youth, like I love them all just like my family, and it's literally like my second home being there. But we obviously meet on a Friday night for our youth services, and they're incredible, and like you feel so welcomed as soon as you walk in. Like there'll be people at the door welcoming you with the signs that say Jesus loves you and high-fiving you and asking you how you are. And then same on Saturdays, we'll all meet up together, and whether that's in the church or sometimes people open up their houses for people to all come to, or we go and do activities. And then on Sunday nights after our nighttime service, we'll all stay and hang out together for after hours, and within that we do small groups and go really more in depth with the Word of God. And I think that's just really nice, because that's what brings us all together, that we spend our whole weekends together, and especially the small groups. I believe that helps me a lot in my faith personally in general, but also with everyone else, seeing that everyone has the same heart for God that I do, and everyone's on the same journey. And yes, we can all have like fun with each other and a bit of a laugh, but we know that if there's ever anything serious that you want to chat about with someone, there's always people there that you can talk to, and you're not going to be judged. And then, like for me personally, coming to youth really helped grow my faith, and like I said, just having people around my age that are like-minded, it's just really encouraging to see. But yeah, no, we're really excited to be here today, and we thank you for welcoming us in here, and we're excited to keep serving in this church. Thank you.
So Jess and Hannah, they told you about youth, but most of us don't qualify for youth because we're too old. But I was really interested because these two girls are great examples, because if you were to roll back a few years, did you know Jesus?
No.
Did you know Jesus?
No.
So when we talk about, and you hear me say 20 people, 70 people, all of these things, and you go, that's exciting. This is what it looks like. These are living souls. When did you come to faith?
August of 2024.
Where?
Relentless.
At the Elim youth?
Yeah. I was away for a week with the youth, and there was like 7 of us, I think. And I went like, because they asked me to go to fill up spaces and stuff. And I gave my life to Jesus that week.
And what has been the journey since then to now in 25 words?
What? 25 words is a bit short. Don't count that. Don't count that. Okay. So, been very up and down. I got baptized in the December of 24, and I've seen 2 of my family members come to faith as well.
They're both here. Put your hands up. Go on, Caitlin. Put your hand up. Yeah.
I've seen I have a younger brother as well. He's got a Bible. He's reading it, and I've seen some of my friends saved, like that I knew from like dancing and all other things, and I've just seen the lives of people around me really transformed just by one invite.
And the Lord miraculously provided for you.
Yeah.
And He's running the sound.
Oh yeah.
So, with every good journey, there's also a tough journey. So Jess has been really blessed, but she also picked up a boyfriend whose name is Charlie, who's my nephew. And the term melter was just coined for him. But Charlie's going to be here a bit as well. Jess is going to be here a bit. She's on one of the teams that are, yes, very funny, Charlie. She's on one of the teams that are coming up. So remember Jess's name and say hello to her when she comes up. Okay, Jess, where you go. Hannah, when did you come to faith?
January of 2024.
And how did that happen?
It was actually through a TikTok that my friend had posted from dance. It really stuck out to me whenever I was in the middle of moving schools. But yeah, I just asked her loads of questions about it, and then that's how I came to faith.
And how has the journey been since coming to faith?
It's been pretty crazy. Ups and downs, different things going on in life. I'd say that I really realised how serious it is and sort of taking it seriously last year in September of 25 whenever I came to this church for the first time like properly, because I sort of fell off my faith for a little bit in the summer of last year, but I always knew God was there, but I just wasn't going to church or anything. But coming to this church, Carrickfergus Elim, has really helped me and really strengthened my faith. So yeah, been lots of ups and downs, but ultimately God's been good the whole time. So.
And you know we're in Coleraine.
Yes, we are in Coleraine.
Hannah is also on one of the teams that are coming up. So keep an eye out for her. Talk to her. Her and Jess are great girls, and they're going to be helping out. We have a different team coming up every week. There are 4 teams on a rotation. The good news is I had a few more volunteers today who said, I kind of would like to be on a team. So we're excited about that. Give her a big round of applause. Amazing. Last week, Stephen asked you a question. Who is your one? Who is the one person that God has placed upon your heart? Who is the one person that God has strategically positioned you to reach out to? And I loved it. I went away and thought about it because I had the struggle to think about who is the one person for me. And you might say, well, you meet a lot of people, and I do. But I also believe, someone once said to me, in Carrickfergus where I live, you can be a pastor to the whole town, but in your street, you can only be a neighbour. You can be a pastor to everyone in your town, but in your street, God has placed you there, not as a pastor, but as a neighbour. And that really struck me about how I approach prayerfully and also in my actions the people who live in my street, the people who are in my family, the people who go to my workplace or my school place. How do I approach them? Because I'm not the pastor to them. I am the neighbour to them. And I was thinking about that this week. Who are my neighbours? I don't live in this town. And I was thinking, how do I get neighbours in Coleraine? How do I get people who fall on my heart that God places me amongst, that I am able to be His witness? Now, I'm hoping that if I was thinking about it, you were thinking about it. Because that is how God will move. He has already planted you. He has already rooted you. And He is already making you fruitful. Jess came to faith 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Then her brother came to faith. Then recently her sister came to faith. And she's already praying for her little brother. Mum and Dad at some stage will follow. Why? Because God transformed one life. Hannah, her brother's already journeying because we know him really well. And God's already contending with him. But Mum and Dad, spoke to your dad recently. Mum and Dad, God is working there. That's their families. Their families are not special. They're just like your families. And they're just like my families. God has planted us as his witnesses. And we just got to remember that when we go, we're going with more than ourselves. When we show our love and when we show our invitation, we're demonstrating the love of God. So thank you, girls, for sharing with us. For us here in Coleraine, let's be saying, Lord, show us our neighbours. Help us to be praying. May we remain faithful in that and not give up. So, the reason, or one of the reasons that I have no hair is Andy McLeod, because he is the leader of this motley crew. But one point, he was one of these kids, and I was his leader. And when he rings me or he comes and he says to me, Johnny, they're mad. I say, not as mad as you. They're up to mischief, not as much mischief as you were up to. Andy was a test of my patience and my faith. But you know, God put his hand upon him and he's doing a great work in his life. And leading a group of young people is not easy because drama follows them everywhere. Everything is drama. And last night, Andy was having to deal with the drama. And I was ever so glad that I'm not the youth leader, I'm just the pastor. And I didn't. I just have to deal with the one who's dealing with the drama. It's amazing. But Andy's going to share a little bit this morning, and we're excited to hear what God is going to say through him and with him this morning. Amen.
Thank you. So I'm just going to continue on sort of the theme for this morning. Johnny had said to me last week, it'll be a great opportunity for these guys to actually meet you this weekend and hear a wee bit about you. So I'm going to share a bit of my testimony. But in that, there's sort of 3 points that I think will be really encouraging and really encouraging for people here today. So hopefully that is the case. A little bit about me. I am married to Abby in the back there with... I agree. I deserve a round of applause too. No, only talking other way around. No, they're like that for a reason. I have 2 kids, 2 boys. We have Kobe, who has just turned 3, and Jax, who is 3 months. And they are a test of my patience, especially Kobe. But let me just tell you a little bit about me. This may not surprise some of you by how I sound and how I look, but I was not a church kid. I then grew up in church. I attended every now and again. I was dragged along to Sunday school by my auntie and my uncle. I was dragged along to some youth weekends and some youth events by my auntie and my uncle. I attended the BB at Carrickfergus Elim Church. And then I hit my teenage years and other things took over. Football, a few other things. And I just kind of slid away from church and church life. And then one night, a guy who's a really good friend of mine, who also tested Johnny's patience, Robbie, a guy from our church, is probably also one of the reasons why I am the way I am, because of him. He's 3 years older than me, so it's his fault too. And he invited me along. He says, "You will love this place." And I was like, just come. What's the worst that can happen? And I went. And I came in. And my first night there, I got tortured. They made fun of me, made fun of the way I looked, made fun of the way I dressed, ripped me to shreds, and I loved it. It was great. I thought to myself, these people are just like me. I could fit in here. I maybe took it a wee bit further than they did, but I really enjoyed it. And I think that set me on a journey. Actually, I don't think. I know it set me on a journey. That power of one invite set me on the journey. And I dipped my toes into church for a little bit. And then I kind of thought to myself, things were just simpler when I wasn't here. That's what I thought. I can just go back. I can do what I was doing. I'll not have to worry about anything. I'll not have to care about anything. And that's what I did. I left church again when I was like 21. Lived in the world, done my own thing for 6 or 7 years. And then, oh no. For anybody who doesn't know that, this is some like silly youth thing that is going on at the minute, and I fall for it every time. I don't even do it on purpose. I actually don't. I hate it with a passion. But this is the level that we're dealing with. Anyway, I was in work. I was in work one day. I worked for Johnson's Paints. I managed one of their shops, and I wasn't feeling well. And I was coming home from work, and I only lived like up the road, and I took like this sensation. I had like pains all down my left side. Like my heart was like racing out of my chest. Like I felt as though like I was having a heart attack basically. And I remember getting out of the car, slumping on the road, and being like, I actually don't think I'm going to make it home. Like, this is it. And then I thought to myself, if I can just get up to my mum and my dad's, I'll be okay. Like, if it's my time to go, like, that's fine. Just let me get home. And I ended up going through this journey. I was taking, like, panic attacks. I couldn't settle. I was on edge all the time. I was worrying about stuff that I never had worried about before in my life. And I went out for a walk one night just to try and clear my head. And for some reason, I ended up at the church. Hadn't been anywhere near it for years. Hadn't thought really too much about it. I ended up at the door, like sort of like a sad, like lonely boy, like staring through the window, like thinking to himself, I wonder what they're all doing. Why am I here? Am I going in? And then it got to the point where I was so on edge and I didn't know what to do. I was like, I need to go to church. It's my last resort. I have a couple of friends who go to our church. One of them is Johnny's twin brother. And he said to me, come along to church. Just come. And I came one Sunday night, and I remember like sitting out the back with Johnny and saying to Johnny, like, listen, like, I need to give my life to Jesus. Like, I need this so much. I never once stopped believing in God or anything like that, but I really feel as though like I've exhausted every other avenue, and for some reason I cannot get this place out of my head for the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks. So I couldn't. I really, really couldn't. And I gave my life to Jesus that night. Thank you. And I came and I started to get involved in church life again. I started to come along. I started like wanting to serve. I just wanted to stack chairs. I didn't want to do anything too heavy because I'd already done that, and I felt exhausted the last time from doing it. So I just wanted to try and ease my way back into things. Easier said than done, because once I started, I was like, I want more of this. I want more of this, God. But see, I had lived this lie for so many years. I had listened to this lie for so many years, and this was the lie. You can never come back to this place because you've done too much. You can never be used because you've done too much in those years where you've been away. That God couldn't use you. You had your chance. You missed it. And it was from the devil. It was from the enemy. And I felt him saying, you're mine. And I ain't letting you go. So my first point is this. No heart is too hardened for Jesus. No heart is too hardened for God. So see those people who you have on your heart that you would love to see sitting in these chairs. Nothing is impossible through God. If you've been praying for them for years and years and years and you still haven't seen them come and sitting here, keep praying, keep asking, and keep handing them over to God. Don't know why, because people have done it for me. 2 of them sitting in this row. They may live to regret it sometimes, but I mean, they kept praying. I lay claim to this fact. It may be a lie, but apparently I'm the only person that Johnny's ever requested as a friend on Facebook. True. Honestly, when he told me that, I was like, I'll hold on to that forever. So, well, I'm one of the few people who he comes and he gives a hugs to. So, always the only one. Okay, but listen, no heart is too hardened for God. says this in Titus 2:11. For the grace of God has been revealed, bringing salvation to all people. Salvation is available to everybody. It is not only for people who look a certain way or sound a certain way or have behaved a certain way or anything like that in their past, but salvation is open to everyone. And anyone who calls on the Lord will receive. Romans 10:11-13 says, as the scripture tells us, anyone who trusts in him will never be disgraced. Jew and Gentile are the same in this respect. They have the same Lord who gives generously to all who call on him. For everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. For everyone who calls on the Lord will be saved. We've heard it from some of the girls this morning. What God is doing in our young people is phenomenal. It is extraordinary. It is great. It is encouraging. And there is so many people who are attending our youth now who have been prayed for years, who have came in because they've been invited, they've stuck out it. They used to come and just sit in the back and not really get involved, and then they start to get their feet in and they start to wee bit more, and then God moves. She'll be embarrassed for me saying it, but Caitlin's a prime example. So she came and was like, I don't really want anything to do with this, I'm just kind of here. And then a few weeks ago comes and says to me, Drew, can you get me a Bible and just not say anything? Yeah, of course I can. And then a week later or 2 weeks later, she's given her life to Jesus. Incredible. Like, literally unbelievable. This and what you see here today wasn't always like this. Our youth group wasn't always like this. Me and Abby took over youth just in and around COVID time, just as it was kind of starting, and our youth was decimated. We had sort of older kind of range of youth, and they got exposed to different things when churches were closed, and they never came back, they never recovered. We had people who got addicted to things like social media and all that kind of stuff, and would rather spend time for hours on end scrolling on TikTok on a Friday night instead of coming back out to youth. We had people who just wanted to go and experience the world and do different things. And I think at one stage when we came back, there was like 6 of us. It was like me, Abby, a guy called Scott, and then Joshy, Charlie, and Abby at one stage. They're all Redmond kids. They're all kids who grew up in the church. Maisie didn't call me. Maisie was too cool for school. She was on TikTok at that stage. So she was. Okay, but that was how it was. It was decimated. And for years, it was hard. For years, it was tough. For years, I sat and never just thought to myself, God, are you actually going to do anything here where I'm going to be able to be like, okay, all those things that I prayed for and asked for and we done and prayed for as a couple, to be like, God, move in our community and move in this place. Are we going to see that? And for a while, it seemed as though like it wasn't going to happen. And that was tough and that was hard. Waiting's not easy. It's really, really not. It's so difficult, and I'm not the most patient person as it is. And waiting on God can be so difficult. So it can, and so frustrating. Two Corinthians 5:7. For we live by believing and not by seeing. See, God moves and works even when we can't see it. God moves and works sometimes even when we can't feel it. He's like when you're planting a seed and a lot of the work is done underground that you can't see. For me, it's a great picture of what God's like and how God moves in our lives and how God has moved in my life. That he's been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. And as somebody who at times is like, why can you not just show me it all? Why can you not just give me the absolute confidence of being like, here it is, this is the end plan, this is how this looks. So be encouraged and keep going. Because there was times where I was like, I can't keep going. There was times where we were having conversations in church to be like, where's people coming? Where are they coming from? There's loads of people out there, there's loads of young people. Why are we not seeing them coming in? I laugh at some of like the older people in our church who come and will have conversations with me about youth, and they're like it's so good. Like, we feel so refreshed and re-energized because church is buzzing and there's so many young people coming through, and we know that the church isn't going to die off, and we know that things are going to be okay. And I'm like, you never came and like talked to me about this before, and they were like, no, we were worried, we were panicking. praying, as were we all. And then this moment happened where I made this decision that I was going to apply for ministering training with Elim. That a couple of people had came to me and said to me, this is something that you need to explore. This is something that I had prayed into, that others had prayed into. And I was like, okay. And we started the process of that. And we got into it and got accepted. And they had sent out a couple of invitations, and they were really short notice. Very unorganised, like Elim is. And that's my wee dig. Very unorganised. And then we decided that we were going to go, and me and Abby went, and we took Kobe. Kobe was only like 1. And we decided, right, we're going. And we went over expecting it to be this process, and it would be all good and encouraging. And they hammered me. Absolutely hammered me. They tore me to shreds, tore my ministry and stuff to shreds. Wasn't a great experience. Wasn't a good interview either. It really, really wasn't. I could feel myself getting more and more agitated, and more upset, and more angry. Abby said to me on the way up the road, I'm very proud of you. And I says, what are you proud of me for? I blew that. And she was like, I know, but a couple of years ago you had whacked one of them ones. She was like, so I'm proud. You kept your cool. And I came home, and we sort of talked it through, and kind of had to talk Johnny off the ledge because he was getting on a plane to go and fight them, and all that kind of stuff. And then they got this email. It was like, no explanation apart from this. It's a no. And that was it. That was it. Just no. And I was like, okay, well, I kind of expected it on the way back up the road. But when I came back home, realised, and it all sort of sank in, here's where the thinking's angry, frustrated, embarrassed, all these things, because the couple of days before we went, Danny decided to bring us up to the front of the church, and everybody prayed for us, and everybody knew we were going. So coming back, and everybody was like, how did it go? I was like, not great, not good, don't want to talk about it. But people were so encouraging. People in church kept coming and kept trying to encourage. And as more and more they encouraged, the more and more it was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to sort of down tools, throw the toys out of the pram, and that's it. And then Johnny phoned and says, I need to get you back on the saddle. And I says, yeah, that's fine, you do what you want to do, I'm not doing it, but you can keep offering me. And then he phoned one day and he says, you're doing Bible study, no exceptions, you're doing it. And I says, okay. And I went home with this attitude of, well, I'll just not do it and prepare, and I'll not do it well, and then he'll not ask me again, and then he can't bother me, and everything will be okay. And then I had this moment, and I got reading in the house, and I realised this, that I let the devil come in, I let him start to speak into my life again and take control and say, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, and I told you that you would be mine. And I just had this real moment that Wednesday night at Bible study of praying to God and being like, God, you know what, this sucks and this is wick. And I don't know where I'm going from here, but you know what it is. You haven't failed me yet. So whatever it is and however it looks, I'm in. And that's it. no exceptions, no nothing. See, sometimes it's great when God opens the doors and it's like, yes, there we are. But you know what's equally as important? Him closing doors and him shutting the doors that aren't meant for you. And you know what that is? It's not rejection. It's just a redirection. So it is. It's him turning around and saying, hang on, see this? As much as you may want this isn't what I've got. I've got something better. As much as you want this right now, it's not for now. Because do you know why? We have this to do. See, I know me, and I know fine rightly, if I had got accepted into MIT, at that point in time, I'd have been hard set and turned around saying, see, youth, I think I just have to stop doing youth. Because I feel as though I would probably have to give this my entire attention, and that would be it. So let's just park that, hand it to somebody else, and then I'll just focus on this, and we'll go from there, and we'll see what happens. And I'd have been hard set on that. I knew I would have, and that is not what was meant to happen. See, God had bigger plans. God had better route for my life than that point in time. And then we go away a couple of years ago. 7 of us go away on the youth week with Elim at Relentless. 6 of us go. 1 goes who doesn't know Jesus. Midway through the week, Jess gives her life to God. And it was such an easy group. It was far easier taking 7 away than it was 50 odd this week. Trust me. It really was. It was easy. It was a gift. Okay. And Joshy Redmond was on that week, and it was a gift. And he's hard as anything to deal with. Okay. But here's the thing. I came away so refreshed and so re-energized. And a big part of that was because there was a simple moment throughout the week where I realized that God was working in this small group of people. And that was enough for me to turn around and say, okay, God, what's next? Where are we going? And we came back. Youth started in September again properly. We had no idea how it was going to look. Everybody was kind of looking at each other to be like, what's happening? How's this going to happen? How's it going to look? And 18 people showed up to youth. And Charlie turned around and said to me, I'll never forget, he turned around and says, you'd have taken this a few months ago, wouldn't you? And I says, absolutely. And the next week, we're standing at the front door to our, me, Charlie, and Abby Redmond, and these cars are pulling up. And we were like, are you lost? And they're like, Carrickfergus Elim, Emerge Youth Group. We were like, yeah, no, we're coming. And they just kept showing up and showing up and showing up. And then as people were showing up, they were inviting their friends. And then we were seeing people come to know Jesus. We were seeing people baptized. We were just seeing a real working of God. And we've continued to pray that doors are opened. Like Paul says in Colossians, give me an opportunity. Even though he's in chains, even though he's imprisoned, he's praying for opportunities and doors to open where he can share the message of Jesus. And that is what we're doing at the minute as a youth group, asking for doors to be opened so that we can share Jesus in our community, but also asking doors to be shut that we're not meant to be walking through. So as I get ready to finish up, my 3 points, my 3 encouragements for you is this. 1, no heart is too hardened for Jesus. Nobody is ever too far gone. Nobody is ever too young or too old. We were at a choir event before Christmas. There was 2 people who gave their life to Jesus. One was 85 and the other one was 86. 85 and 86 years of age. And they give their lives to Jesus. When the news came through, I was literally sitting in the house being like, God, I give up. I'm done trying to figure out what it is that you're doing at the minute. But no heart is too hardened. Nobody is too far gone for God. And we're in good company because you look at people in the Bible and you'll see plenty of examples of that. We live by faith and not by sight. So it's easy to turn around and be like, oh, let me see it. Oh, that looks great. But it's so worth coming to God and being like, God, you know what it is? I might not be able to see that, but I trust you wholeheartedly. And I'm giving you my yes today, yesterday, tomorrow, and forever. Thirdly, and lastly, just before, sure, Johnny will come up here after, is closing doors is just as important as opening doors. And having God open those doors. Ask God today what it is. What door you've been trying to wedge through and trying to open up. And He's saying to you for a while, no, you're not meant to be going through this. See this door that's opened, and it opens easily. This is the direction I have for your life. This isn't a no, maybe forever, or this isn't a rejection. It's just a redirection for you for where you need to be right here, right now, in the season that you have in your life. I'm going to have the privilege, because it is a privilege being here, of being here, and not just coming to speak and to share. This stuff's great. So it is, but coming and serving and journeying and walking with and encouraging. And I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be a part of what God's doing here in this moment now. So thank you for having us. Thank you for having me. Thank you for listening. If you think it's bad enough having Danny, well, I'm here as well.